Welcome to another Maz Play video. This is MazMojito, and today we're going to be continuing where we left off with The Front. Okay, so where we last left off, we had just finished closing in this cabin of ours and dropping our first couple workstations in. We started off with a forge. We also have a cooking fire, and this is the general location and where we are on the map. Now, with any building sites I choose, I always like to be close to a source of water. And also like to be close to maybe some resource rich environments like mountains or hills so that I can get whatever I need to pop into that forge. We're still kind of learning the mechanics of the game. We're still trying to understand the talent point system as far as unlocking new research and new buildable skills. And we're also still trying to understand where we get what type of resources and what we can actually build with them. So we're going to continue to learn as we go. And this is very similar to all the other building style games I play, survival craft type games. But this is on a live server, so that's a little bit different. Usually I play offline so that my progress does not get erased every time I come back to play the game, even after taking a long break, which I do because I have a lot of games to play. So we're going to continue to just go through the motions here, build up our base, go out, hunt, get supplies, and then potentially look for a new spot to build a true base instead of this kind of starter cabin area, which is already kind of overcrowded with other people living here. So as I always do, going to speed up any of the resource gathering just because no one wants to see hours and hours of just tree chopping. So everything's going to be obviously sped up, and we're going to get what we need to finish this place, build some more workstations, and then go out and explore the map. And I will keep my comments to a minimum just to maybe talk about key points in the game. All right, so it looks like we got some wild game here. We're going to try to get some meat off of it. I kind of don't like how you have to hack at animals that you hunt, but I guess that's just how the game is designed. Some games do it a little bit better than others. This one, it seems like you just kind of hack the carcass to death until it disappears, but you get resources in the process. Hopefully they improve that in the future. Maybe they have a skinning mechanic or something, you know, instead of just beat the carcass to death, so, you know, or just beat it to its nothing but pulp. And at any rate, we're going to keep it moving, keep gathering our supplies, and keep learning as we go. All right, so with all the resource gathering, I have enough to actually craft a chemistry bench. I'm not quite sure what I will get out of putting this chemistry bench down, but we'll look at the recipes. And it's just one thing that I can craft, which is fertilizer. So maybe more items will appear as I unlock them in the talent tree, because the talent tree is really huge in this game. So yeah, at least we have it put down, and we'll experiment with it as we play through. Now, as I said at the start of the game, this is a live server, and as with anything, if you do not play for a couple weeks, things degrade and disappear just as the server does its wipes. So there's a very good chance that all these things that I'm going through the motion of building will not be here the next time I play this game, which is probably why I'll start playing single player. But for now, we're just kind of going through the motions and learning as we go. And now we're getting attacked by something because I hear gunshots. I'm surprised they can even see me because I can't see me. It's so dark in here. And trying to see if I can get a weapon in my hands that I can go out and hit whoever's shooting at me. This is a PvE server, so it should be no PvP type event. So most likely it's a computer controlled NPC out there harassing me. So we'll see what we can find once we get outside. Okay, so it's pretty quiet right now. Whatever was attacking me before seemed to have lost interest and went away. And I don't see anyone or anything out here with a weapon that would be making that kind of noise. So they may have lost interest and just went away. Who knows? At any rate, I'll top off my water. Luckily, you can drink directly from the stream without having to boil it. And we'll keep going with any kind of hunting or resource gathering we need to do. And hopefully the sun will come up soon so we get some nice bright daylight to make it a little bit easier for us to see where we're going and what we're gathering. This is actually a really nice area of the map. The problem is there's not a lot of flat spaces to build on, and there's not a lot of water up here, so I will have to run down to the river every time I need to top off. But the scenery is really nice. So, and there's plenty of resources up here mining wise. There's stone, there's copper, there's all kind of different resources. Lead. A lot of trees, so good resource area. There's even some wild animals. And speaking of which, there's a wild animal chasing me. I'm not sure what it is. Oh, it's a fox. So interesting enough, foxes are very aggressive in this game. So if I can get a good poke at it, but typically foxes run away from you. The only other time I've seen foxes be aggressive towards you is maybe in Medieval Dynasty. But most of the time they'll run away from you. Here, this fox seems out to get me. So I'm gonna have to take him down while I keep moving, because I'm still trying to explore and get resources. I'm not really too worried or scared about this fox. Seems to be more of an annoyance than actually a threat to me, but I'll stop him, pop a couple arrows in it, and maybe eventually it'll go down. Looking at its health bar up at the top, it looks like it has very low health. And if I can actually hit him, there you go, he goes down. And now the beating shall commence, the knife beatings. All right, meat, bone, and hide, which is typical what you get from the animals over here. So we're gonna keep pressing. Our base is somewhere down there to the right, but we're kind of in explorers mode right now since we got fresh sunlight. And I see there's a space station up, a spaceship up above us, and looks like there's a loot chest here with some really good green loot and regular loot. So now this gives us an understanding of what all those different spaceships along the map are that are sprinkled everywhere. And I'm curious to see if I can do a land claim up here, because maybe I can build like a little outpost up here on top of the hill, but it is quite a ways away from water. That's all my only concern, but it looks like I can claim this area and probably build a little tower or outpost. So that's worth thinking about. But yeah, now whenever we see those spaceships at night where they're shining a light down to the ground, we're just gonna think of those as kind of like Ark, where you have the glowing crystals that come down, land on the ground. Those are gonna be loot caches. So spaceships are not a bad thing in this game. They're actually a good thing. They show you where the loot caches are. So we're going to keep working our way to the left. There's another large body of water to the west of where we are. And that's going to be kind of our destination because it's close enough to hills. And I'd like to be closer to mountains and a source of water if I'm going to build a new base. And hopefully we'll find an area that's not overpopulated with other players where they kind of block you from dropping land claims. So we'll continue to press on and gather resources as we go. So somebody had the same idea as I did with building a base up here, except they logged off and they probably lost all their stuff. Unless that was a brand new player just starting off trying the game out and they just decided to log off right there. So my thoughts, I guess, of this being a good place is not the only one. Something's chasing me. Another fox. The most aggressive foxes I've seen on video games are here in the front. So that's interesting. So we'll take this one out just like we did the last one and slap it a couple times with a knife to get resources out of it. So yeah, he is not backing off. The fox is really aggressive in this game. There's plenty of resources here as I go through. A lot of mineable stone, copper, lead resources to gather. But we're going to keep it moving. We're not going to stop and fight the fox. If it keeps following us, you know, a couple more arrows and it'll go down. If it doesn't, we'll just leave it alone. Because I don't think we need any more for our meat or bones. So I don't see it, so we're going to just keep moving. Okay, so it just got stuck. I do see it. Just got stuck. So it's still aggressively following me. And we're just going to go ahead and take it out. Because this is starting to become more annoying. It looks like it's running away. That's a good thing. Or just getting a better path towards me. One more arrow. There we go. And as he slides down the hill, we'll go ahead and get the resources off of it. Kind of makes me want to play Ark. All right, all done. So we got some sulfur here too, which is usually going to be your yellow color. So far they've checked all the boxes when it comes to mineable resources that you would typically find in other survivor type games. Copper, iron, sulfur, lead, stone, so far. Sure, eventually we'll find aluminum, titanium, or probably some other things like that, but we're going to keep it moving. Okay, so we've been moving out and getting a lot of resources here. So I think we're at a good point where we're going to put a bookmark in this. Looks like somebody started to build a base over there too. But as usual, I want to thank you for taking the time to watch my videos. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.